What time is it? Game time! Woo!
What up, YouTube? It's your boys, Detroit Love, PDubs, Michael B. the Game Genie, and Nostalgia with another episode of the Super GameRoom Dudes. Let's get it started.
Hey, everybody. Thanks, as always, for tuning into the Super GameRoom Dudes, your arcade and gaming podcast show. I'm your host, as always, Patrick, a.k.a. P-Dubs. With me to my left, your right, Detroit Love. How you doing, Carl?
You know how I do it, baby. Fantastic.
And beneath him, with that big, beautiful smile, Michael B. the Game Genie. What's going on, Michael?
Oh, not much, man. So excited to be here live at the Super GameRoom Dudes again tonight.
Wonderful. And beneath me, Nostalgia. How you doing, brother? We haven't seen much of you lately.
Yeah, I've been a little preoccupied, but I've been around.
What have you been up to? We couldn't even do a show last week.
Some top secret stuff. I'm not allowed to talk about.
Is it pinball related?
It could be.
You mean talk a boot?
Talk about.
All right, let's see who's in the live chat. Do we got the crew? We got Luis Chambers. What's up, Luis? We got Your Average Gamer. Make sure you guys check out his YouTube channel. We got Steve Victoria. Devil Waldo's in the house. We love Devil Waldo. Kev Gret, the king of keeping it real. He's here as well. Sidearms. He's here. Andre Floyd. What's up, guys? Thanks as always for joining. Gary wants to know, man, the questions are coming already. They act like we know everything.
Hey, before you move on, we also got my boy Brad O'Connell in the chat. Brad sent me out this cool ass hat right here, baby. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, he also sent me the Spider-Man 10 sign back there and the Spider-Man bowl next to the Spidey up there on top of the pinball. I appreciate it, brother. Everything looks nice.
Great.
I'm digging this. You know that's my boy there.
Tyler says he sent us a $2 super chat. Detroit Love and P-Dubs at it again. Give us the deets. We do have some deets for you. We did have a question. Any idea when the AtGames Legends Core will be out? We are hoping in December per AtGames that will be a product that become available. Hopefully that's not one of the ones that fell into the ocean. We'll talk about that. And who was it? I got to give a shout out to my boy Mark over at Get Off My Lawn Gaming. He sent me an instant message today. He goes, so if I charter a boat expedition to the Marianas Trench, will I finally be able to get my hands on a Legends Ultimate? All in good fun. All in good fun. All right, guys. Thanks as always for tuning in. Now, while we're waiting for everyone to join, we do have a lot of pinball to talk about. We're going to talk about pinball for all four of the big players in the in-home consumer VPin market. But before we do that, I wanted to touch on something. My boy Restalgia, make sure you guys have subscribed to his channel. He's sitting right beneath me. Don't hurt his feelings. He released a video earlier the other day about the Neo Geo MVSX and his thoughts on this product. Restalgia, I wanted you to kind of hype your video up. I want people to be able to go watch your video. But also, let's talk about where we're at with software modding, because if you guys have caught our show, we are not... It seems like this panel overwhelmingly agrees that hardware mods to the Neo Geo MVSX Red Cabinet make zero sense. If you got the thing, you just paid $500 for 2 pieces of redwood and a screen and a marquee, and that's it. $500. If you're going to mod a cabinet and do a Pi mod, stick a PC in there or whatever, you should probably do it to an Arcade1Up. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace for $100 in your local community. That's what you should be doing for those mods. But Restalgia, hype your video and tell people where they're at with software modifications and side loading and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I went back and forth with the contact at SNK and Unico. And at first, when he agreed to send it to me, he said, under no circumstances are you allowed to open it. And I was like, okay, I'll get on the list. I'll agree to this. That's fine. And then as soon as I received tracking that it was coming my way, I started sending some emails back and forth. And I was like, okay, so on my channel, we really tend to do teardowns. We need to look at what's inside of this thing. And I think my audience would be interested in that. And at first he said no. And then I was like, well, some of the other guys kind of cheated. And I was like, let me just do a proper teardown. And he finally agreed. So I think in terms of like a promotional teardown, I'm the first person that was actually approved to do that. I know that other people had approvals to do certain types of modding videos. So I took this whole thing apart. I showed you guys in very up-close detail the control panel and what you need to do swap out buttons. I took the back panel apart. I showed you guys the PCB that's sitting in there. I gave you all the technical specs as to what you can expect in terms of emulation and performance out of this thing. And based off of my experience with these types of devices and what can be done with them and the type of power that's in the board that's in this side, that's inside the MVSX, I would actually highly recommend not modding it with a Raspberry Pi. I can see this thing, especially considering it having USB ports or a USB port on the back. This is going to be something that a community developer is going to create a side hack or some sort of a soft mod that you can do to this thing and load up a USB drive and run anything you want off that. And I would anticipate that's probably going to come relatively soon now that these things are actually being shipped.
Quick question, Restalgia. Taking a look at the specs right here that you reported on in your video.
Yes, sir.
What kind of games do you think we might be able to get running on this? How powerful of a board is this? You're the expert here. And shout out to Your Average Gamer for joining the channel. Thanks so much for joining the Loft Army, brother.
I mean, don't expect crazy performance out of this thing. And you got to keep in mind that whatever somebody sideloads, in an ideal world, you get RetroArch on this thing, and then you can load it up with cores and you can really test it out and optimize those cores specific to this chipset. Realistically, what I'm seeing here, you should be able to get things like most of your 16-bit, 8-bit consoles on there. Most of your arcade games should be able to run on there through MAME. Obviously, you'd be able to run any of the Neo Geo titles on there, no issues. You might be able to sneak away with some 3D polygon style games, PlayStation 1 maybe, if it's really optimized and you've got a way to get those cores and the BIOS in there. But realistically, if you're buying this thing and you're going to soft mod it, it's arcade games all the way.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hey, did we lose Detroit Love? It looks like he had to step away for a minute. Michael B, the Game Genie, what are you thinking? Did you get a Neo Geo? Is that in Canada? Can you guys get that? No?
Well, we actually can get it now. One of the former Arcade1Up retailers is actually going to be carrying this. So Canada Computers here in Canada. So it's Nostalgia. You remember this. $5.99 for just the bar top here in Canada, and then another $100 for the base. So we're looking at $6.99, and there's no Canada Computers ROM too. So shipping would be like another $200. So I'm going to hold off just now, and hopefully another retailer will pick it up.
Yep.
Well, I personally, I had this pre-ordered, right? And then all the other machines came out for pre-order, right? And there's only so many $500 cabinets we all can purchase, right? And I wanted the pinball machines more than this. So I canceled my pre-order. But now pinball machines are delayed, right? And now I'm like, I should have just kept my order, right? You know, so maybe I'll go ahead and I'll order one now that I'm not getting my hands on some of these pinball machines until next year. All right, guys, let's get this off of here. All right, beautiful. Beautiful. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, before we dive further into the pinball talk, let's talk a little bit about the Arcade1Up marquees. Michael B. the Game Genie, you pointed this out to me right before we went live, so I'm a little unprepared for it. But maybe you can kind of tell folks what's going on with the Arcade1Up marquees that they're selling directly, and I'll see if I can find something on it.
So for people that have been watching my channel for a while, you know I've been very interested in the Arcade1Up marquees that they're going to retrofit for the older cabinets. And some people have made some comments about them possibly not fitting right. And I kept saying to myself, there's no way Arcade1Up are going to release these marquees and not have them fit correctly in the older cabinets. Obviously, they made them to fit properly. Well, someone has received one of the first ones. It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles marquee. And sure enough, it does not fit correctly in the cabinet. It's not made to fit within the previous dimensions, and it's not too bad, but it's only on the bottom that it actually sticks out just a little bit. PDubs, I don't know if you've still got the picture that I sent along to you, but a picture is worth 1,000 words here.
Yeah, but it's going to be kind of small on the screen here. Hang on one second, guys. Let me go full screen. Okay, so you guys might not be able to see it without squinting depending on what device you're watching, but right here, this marquee does not line up with the cabinet. It sticks out, it overhangs a bit, and that's what he's talking about, which I find that very, very surprising that design flaw happened. You know what I mean?
Wait, you're surprised that Arcade1Up didn't like do really awesome quality control on their products?
Oh, stuff happens. Be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Stuff happens. But, you know, I'm just shocked. It just seems like it's an easy thing to get done, right? And maybe not all cabinets are shaped the same, side panels, so they can't just use the same marquee mold or something. I don't know. But if you're paying $80 for that marquee, $80 American, I mean, that's disappointing. You know, I mean, every aftermarket marquee I've purchased has fit the cabinets perfectly. Go ahead, Michael B.
I actually have 2 of these on the way. The minute they were announced, I've been following these the whole time. I put my order in right away. So $250 Canadian by the time it was shipped. Plus, it's coming through UPS, so I'm probably going to get some kind of brokerage fee too. So a little disappointed to see that.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean that's just awful. I mean, one, you can get marquees half that price from third parties, and that's great that these guys have come into the community and made those things available. You would think that if you're going to the source, the original manufacturer, that these things would be perfect. They would fit. So that, I mean, there's really no excuse for that. Like I said, guys making these things in their garage is making better products. So that's disheartening for sure.
Yeah, but you know, hopefully they'll fix it or whatnot. I don't know.
I mean, but fixing it in the future doesn't help the people who purchase it for $80 today. So
yeah,
put your broom away.
Right.
Put your broom away there, P-Dubs. There's no way to clean that up.
Oh, you think I'm trying to? You think I'm trying to sweep it under the rug?
But thank you, though. They appreciate it.
To be fair, this is just one picture, and I'll judge it when I get it home in my arcade. Maybe I won't notice it. Maybe it won't look that bad. It's just sticking out just a little bit. It's just disappointing that this wasn't, I guess, QC tested to make sure that wouldn't happen. Or maybe it's just there's no way to retrofit these perfectly. I don't know. But
if you don't take a picture of it, if you don't take a picture of it when it's installed, then we're good.
That's the only photo I've seen. So is that the only photo that's been circulating? Because maybe it is just a one-off, right?
No. If you go back and you watch the CES videos, like PDubs, you were there. They actually had their marquees already installed on the older cabinets. Like there was a Galaga marquee. They had some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones. So you can go back and watch Cool Toys coverage, Retro Ralph's coverage. And there should be video evidence of what these look like. And I didn't notice any overlap in those videos. So I'm not sure if those cabinets were modified to fit the light up marquees. I don't know.
Could have also been a prototype unit too, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at CES, I don't remember seeing them sticking out like that. But then again, I mean, it's kind of a small thing. Like, you're not looking for it at CES. If it was sticking out, maybe I missed it. I'd have to go back and look at the footage. Now, everyone's saying I'm being diplomatic. Okay, all right. Let me address this, guys. I do hold. I mean, Arcade1Up, you are the king of the mountain. This is your playground, and everyone else is trying to get into the sandbox, right? But if you are king of the mountain, you know what that means? That means you are held to a higher standard than everybody else. You know what I mean? So Arcade1Up, especially if they want to hold their place and stuff. I mean, considering the fact that my personal opinion is I'm worried that by, let's just say 2022, the market's going to be oversaturated, right? I mean, right now, in my opinion, we have way too many SKUs of Arcade1Up machines. We have like 8 SKUs of every cabinet. It's too much. It's oversaturation, in my opinion. And if you're going to oversaturate the market, if you want to still be king of the mountain, you got to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen. You know, the Pac-Man, the Miss Pac-Man firmware fix that came out, where now the screen is rotated the wrong way. There is no excuse for that. None. If AtGames releases a firmware and it has a bug in it, the entire world craps on AtGames. They act like AtGames just, set off a nuclear bomb in the middle of a homeless shelter. Arcade1Up, screws up a firmware fix that it's, they must have pushed the wrong button. They must have released the wrong firmware.
Why do they even need to send out firmware on non-connected devices?
Right. If they're static machines, the firmware updates shouldn't even be necessary, right? They should be perfect out of the box the first time. Connected machines, I understand. Connected machines, that's a whole nother world. But guys, I'm trying to be fair to Arcade1Up. I mean, because they've had a rough week, right? Their pinballs are delayed. They screwed up their firmware on Miss Pac-Man. And then, of course, now their marquees aren't lining up. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's get off the marquee talk. There's one more thing I want to talk about before we get into all of our pinball discussions. And we're going to run through all 4 companies because we have a lot to say about all 4 companies. iiRcade made history this week. The very first iiRcade cabinet was delivered to the very first customer. And Jong, the CEO, delivered it himself, which is such a classy move. And of course, he delivered the cabinet to the iiRcade's top fan, Prentice Howard. And if you don't know Prentice, this is what Prentice would tell you about iiRcade.
And I'm gonna tell you like this straight up. If you believe in God, believe in iiRcade.
Prentice is an amazing member of the iiRcade community. And Jong himself delivered the cabinet to him, and he broadcast it live on his personal Facebook account. So I'm friends with Jong on Facebook, so you guys can see it here. And Jong and his head of quality control, Michael, they hand delivered the cabinet to Prentice. They hand delivered the cabinet to him, and they all built it together, and they played games together and all that kind of stuff. And it was a really, really touching moment. I thought it was really cool. I'm trying to skip around the video here to where I can get Jong on the screen as well. Go ahead, guys.
Skip forward to the part where I won a hat for trivia during the live stream.
You want a hat for trivia?
I did. I won an iiRcade hat. So I got a shirt, I got a hat, I got to get a sweater soon. I'm going to be fully outfitted in iiRcade gear.
Yep. We got a $5 super chat from Arcade Will. Arcade1Up has her Teflon protectors over Retro Rough. Guys, I shouldn't. You know what? I should have read that before I put that on screen. Guys, don't put stuff like that in the live chat. Please don't do it. Honestly, I literally looked over, saw a green button, clicked it, started reading it. My apologies to the content creator mentioned in that comment. Guys, as I tell you guys all the time, we don't bash other content creators. We don't want them bashing us on their shows. We don't want to do that. My sincere apologies. I literally, if you guys watch the replay, I looked over, clicked the button, started reading it. I should have read it first. My apologies. Guys, don't talk about other content creators, please. That's not nice. And all that stuff.
Yeah, but that was an incredible video. That was an incredible video. I just love that. I watched that, them putting it together, him and his son playing. That was cool. I really like that. Princess is a pretty cool guy. There's John there. I had a lot of fun and enjoyed watching that video.
Yeah. And look at John. He can't flip a hat. Watch it. What? Oh, he got it. He got it. But guys, let me know in the comments below in the live chat, whatever room you're in. We have almost 200 people already watching between everywhere we're broadcasting. What do you guys think about this move by a CEO of an arcade company to hand deliver the first cabinet and all that stuff? Jong is just, I think it was really cool. What do you guys think? And that was Michael right there with the mustache.
Who's available, Jong told us.
Oh,
many times.
He kept trying to hook him up throughout the live stream. He's like, if anyone's watching, Michael's available. Oh, man. So like David says, iiRcade equals respect, class. I thought it was really cool. And what I really liked about it is the fact that the first cabinet did not go to a content creator. It did not go to a news media outlet. Because sometimes, guys, I mean, people give the YouTubers crap. They don't realize that these companies don't need us. They need to send their products to CNET and what's the one that starts with an I again?
IGN.
IGN. I always want to say what is that? IMB or IBM? You know, the movie studio one. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Yeah, IGN. Like, guys, that's the kind of national exposure these small. Because keep in mind, all these companies, even Arcade1Up is tiny. All these small arcade companies, that's the kind of national exposure they need to become a household brand. They don't need any of us YouTubers. And if you're a YouTuber who thinks that this company needs you, you are sorely mistaken. They don't need you at all. They get more exposure from putting an article on MSNBC, CNET, on IGN than they would ever on your YouTube channel. You know what I mean? So the fact is, a lot of these cabinets and stuff, they send to those news outlets or to big time YouTubers to get exposure on them, correct? But the fact is, this is the first cabinet, and instead of doing that, John gave it to a fan. I thought that was really cool. Is what I'm
I mean, and that's true with most of the companies. I don't know much about Well Played, but they're even trying to do that as well. You know, getting in touch with their fans and understanding what their fans want, and you can't put a price to that. That's pretty awesome. Putting it on a national thing like that is one thing, but this is really cool that they're attached to the communities that support and buy their products. So I think that's cool that they do. But John took it to another level, man. He calls his customers his family and is represented in the actions that he takes. And so you're not going to see that. That's a pretty rare trait right there for sure.
You know what it says to me, though? And I don't know if anyone said this in the chat, but it's a sense of pride that he'll go hand deliver this package to a customer, stand with him and build it. Like, there's a level of pride that kind of goes with that, which is just unparalleled. Yeah. It's really refreshing to see that.
And trust in the product too, because this didn't come directly from Zhang. I mean, this was shipped, so Zhang and his quality team didn't get a chance to pre-inspect this ahead of time. This went directly from the retailer to Prentice, and then they were there for it to open. So, you know, really good on them for having that kind of faith in their own product to be there during the opening and live stream it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because I've gotten cabinets in the past that the marquee was upside down. Imagine if that was the case when they opened up that box, and you know, it would have made for a different video. So,
no, Ryan, John was just saving on the shipping.
John was saving on the shipping. Oh,
that's what Ryan just wrote. Yeah.
You guys are hilarious. Okay, let's start diving into our pinball conversation, right? We got 4 companies to talk about. We've already 25 minutes into the show. We're going to try and move through these all pretty quickly, or as quickly as we can. But let me just get my screen share. The first company I want to talk about is Toy Shock. Toy Shock is in a really good position right now, right? Well Played Arcade, their pinball machines were supposed to come out in November. Those got pushed to December. Are they going to get pushed again later? Our sources tell us no, that there might be some that arrive this year, more next year. So if you ordered a Well Played Pinball, there's no guarantee that that December 15th date on the GameStop website is going to hold up. AtGames is going to have some pinball machines come this year, but not a whole ton of them. So a lot of folks aren't going to get them until next year. And of course, Arcade1Up Pinball machines aren't happening at all until February, right? So Toy Shock is in a good position for folks who are looking for, I want to get my hands on virtual pinball today. These cost-effective consumer V-pins, right? So sure enough, they're back in stock at Walmart, and if you order them, they're shipping right away. There's no delay. Already, I had a guy message me. He's like, I ordered mine, and it's being delivered. I think he said on the 8th or something like that, which is really, really cool. So, guys, if you're interested in the Toy Shock pinball line, they are available, Walmart.com only. And these are the 1.2 pinball machines. Now, the listing has the old picture. It's got the silver bezel. But as we know, this thing does come with a mixture black and silver bezel now. So they're using the old picture. And of course, this has the 1.2 boards with better performance and all that kind of stuff. I've had one. Detroit Love has had one. Even before he modded it, Detroit Love and I would both agree. Thing built like a tank is a solid, dependable product. Hold on, Michael B. And sorry about that. And then solid product built like a tank. The only issue it had was software and performance issues, and those have been ironed out. So now it's an even better product than what it was a year ago. Go ahead, Michael B.
So for the 9 other Canadians that are watching this show with us, I reached out to Linda the other night and asked what the update is for the Canadian market. And she said these are actually ready to ship right now to Canada. It's just none of the retailers have actually agreed to carry them at this point. So if you guys are out there, you want to try the Toy Shock Pinball, let people know. I reached out to the Brick and asked if they would consider possibly carrying them. And if you think this is something you'd be interested in, you want to see the Brick carry them, you guys know what our contact is for the Brick here in Canada. Let them know as well you want them to carry the Toy Shock pinball machine, because this looks like a great option for us, especially at that price point, and I'd love to see it carried in Canada.
Yeah, very, very cool.
And in regards to shipping on that, obviously these are already in Walmart's possession, so obviously they're going to ship timely and free shipping typically with Walmart. So it's a good deal, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. Now, shout out also to Linda Falke, wife of CEO Jeff Falke. She's kind of taken over the reins of being the communication person for Toy Shock on like their fan pages. Linda Falke has been all over those fan pages, giving people updates and information on the replacement boards, status of these Walmart orders, all that kind of stuff. Because that's one thing that our community was really struggling with last year, was we weren't hearing from Toy Shock, right? We weren't hearing from them enough. They weren't making their own announcements, things like that. But she also gave us a teaser. The very first photo of this is a real photo, not a render, of their upcoming tabletop bar top pinball line, which they're hoping to release in 2021 in first quarter, provided retailers pick it up. They have 2 options available: the black hole, which is what we see in this picture, as well as the haunted house. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, or saw this picture, so I wanted to share it with all of you. Let me know in the live chat what you guys think of tabletop bar top pinball machines. Would you be interested in a black hole, haunted house, and all that? Nostalgia, what do you think about this, buddy?
I actually like these quite a bit. I'm more interested in this than the 3/4 scale device personally, just because I like the form factor. And I think what they've done here is some very smart things. The playfield is, what is that, that's an 18-inch? 19-inch? Yeah, so a 19-inch on a desktop unit, or a bar top unit, we'll call it, is a good move. I think it's the right size for a device like this. So this is kind of the one that's been catching my eye. I like this a lot.
What about you, Michael B?
We've talked about this a lot. I've promised my father that I was going to get this and bring it up to play it at the cabin. So this will be like the 15th time I've mentioned that. I'm very excited, and I can't wait till it's available.
Yep. Go ahead, Detroit Love.
Yeah. Again, in the past, I wasn't really a fan of tabletops, but I've definitely, it's grown on me. And pinball in this form factor is definitely sweet. 19 inches huge, 18 to 19 inches is a nice size for a tabletop pinball. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this.
Now, some information we found out is that these units, at least the first ones that come out in first quarter, guys, they're going to have the same 12 games that come with the 3/4 scale pinball machine. So it's the same 12 games. It's an 18.5-inch screen, does have the alphanumeric display on the back box. There's no Wi-Fi. We do have the plunger, though, and they've upgraded the plunger versus what's on the 3/4 scale machine today. And on top of that, what was the other thing I wanted to mention? Oh, we did find out the price. We were assuming this thing was going to be in the $200 to $300 range, and it looks like we're correct. Linda did confirm on the Facebook page that these would be priced at $299. That would be the MSRP on these pinball machines when they're released. So they will be $300, which kind of puts them in line with Well-Played Arcade's desktop pinball machine, which is roughly the same price. Let me know what you guys think about the $300 price tag. Throw that in the chat. Thanks so much, guys. What do you guys think about a $300 price tag, though? That got released this week as well.
I personally think it should have been $200, but obviously when these things get in the hands of the retailers, they're going to have some flexibility. I can see Sam's Club and those type of guys, if they are interested, making these things available for that price. $300 for an extra $100, I get the 3/4 size. It just seems the no-brainer to go to the full size, and that in the 3/4 size for $100 more. But again, I was talking to someone on the forum, and I mentioned that these were back, not these, but the 3/4 size was in stock, and someone else says, "Well, why would somebody get that when there's AtGames pinballs coming out?" And I said, "You don't control people's pockets, you don't control people's interests, and I'm never going to pretend to do so." It's great to have options. $100, we know, makes a huge difference going in either direction for most people. And so to give people more options, more flexibility, you can't go wrong with products like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, price point, we're looking at $300 retail. I would have my initial thought was, $249 price point, and then possibly on sale for $199 at select retailers, wherever they happen to be. But I don't know. It's you're talking $50 here or there. It's really up to what people want. There's a value in its size and its portability factors. So people will make a decision based off of that.
This is also first of its kind, so there's no example for them to go off. They're looking at Well-Played, and they're saying, well, that's what they put it out for, so we might as well try the exact same price point and see what sticks to the wall when we throw it.
Yep, and the market will dictate that price soon enough once it's out there. So,
Yep. BA, due to the price, if you purchase this online from most retailers, you'll get free shipping with it, depending on the retailer. But most retailers, if it's a $250 product, they give you free shipping, or $300, right? Yep. My personal opinion, guys, I really wish this came in at $250. I really wish it came in at $250. I was a little surprised when Linda said $299. However, there is an appetite for everything. So hopefully we'll see how that plays out. You know what I mean? But $250 or less seemed really like the sweet spot for me, right? $300 seemed a little high, being honest with everybody. And also, too, it's a static machine, right? There's no Wi-Fi, right? Well-Played is priced around the same. You have the ability to add more games, and it has Wi-Fi, right? So that's kind of like the differentiator, right? But then again, they're Zachariah games, and not everybody likes the Zachariah games too. Sometimes it comes down to game selection, right? There's a lot of people out there who give Gottlieb Games and Farsight Studios and Pinball Arcade a hard time, but guys, there is a healthy customer base for those products. There are people who love the Gottlieb games. It ain't all about one studio or the other. If that was the case, AtGames wouldn't have signed up with Gottlieb, and neither would have Toy Shock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Gottlieb started it all. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of people that from the nostalgic value, most tables that's going to come to their minds are Gottlieb tables. So there's no way you exclude that.
Yeah, it's interesting
reality.
because I'd never played any of these Gottlieb tables in the past before. They were quite a while before my time, and the pinball I was always exposed to was modern day creations. And I've been playing these Gottlieb games, and honestly, they're fun. They're old, but they're fun. So
they're old, but they're fun. I love it. Keep going. I was
going to say I'm trying to beat PDubs' score on the leaderboards for teed off.
Good
I'm
luck.
gonna have to work my way up there.
Good luck.
No, you're not that far off. I'll knock you down within the next couple days.
Yeah, and a lot of comments are in the comments are saying, games matter, the selection matters. It does. I mean, and the reality of it is, most people aren't going to know what they like until they get one of these things in their hands. You know what I mean? I have like 300 tables on this thing, from the Steam games to the VPX games. I even played with the Future tables. There's a lot of selections out there, and the reality is, I love the ones I love, and the ones I just don't play. You know what I mean? So you're gonna, no matter what, if you give a person 10 tables, they're gonna gravitate to about 3 of them that they really like playing and enjoy playing.
Mm-hmm. Mike put a little teaser here for when we get to the AtGames portion of the pinball. But yes, guys, if you purchase your Legends Gamer Pro from Home Shopping Network, guess what? Yesterday, when the firmwares went out, Home Shopping Network Gamer Pros for the AtGames Legends Ultimate received their pinball game download pack. There you go. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes.
Yeah, Vince had a 2 comments above that. I thought everyone beat PDubs on the leaderboards, and everyone does beat PDubs on the leaderboards. The only chance he has to be in the top 5 is when he is playing a game before the rest of the community gets to it.
Well, take a look now. Now I have an excuse. I'm a busy man. My channel.
Oh, lots of excuses. Yep.
No, listen. My wife put this in perspective with me over dinner last night. And guys, you might find this funny. She's like, so you've been doing YouTube for 13 months. You hit 5,000 subscribers. That's great and all. She's like, but you made like 250 videos. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, that's a lot of videos in 1 year. So if you guys think about the time it takes to make all those videos, plus I work full time, I have a house to run, I have responsibilities as an adult. You know what I mean? Like, I unfortunately don't have a lot of time to play games because of the amount of content I try to create for everybody else. That is a true, legitimate excuse. You know what I mean?
It's crazy to think about that, because I think you have almost double the amount of videos that I do. Yeah, it blows my mind, because I'm like, I've been at this for 2 years, and it's like exhausting to make one video, and then you've made twice as many in half the amount of time. It just blows my mind. Good for you.
But your content is a bunch of content about, being a naughty little pirate, right? So, people love that content. Hit that subscribe button, right? PDubs is just here for entertainment, right? All right, guys. So let's move on to Well Played. So Well Played Arcade sent their buddy Cool Toy some information and video packages for their tabletop, as well as their 3/4 scale virtual pinball machine. So we finally got to see this thing in action and learn a little bit more about their products. So for instance, here is their tabletop pinball. And as you can see on the bottom corner, it is priced at $299 in order to, which is the same price as the Toy Shock Pinball, right? The Toy Shock Pinball has an 18.5-inch screen. This one has a 19-inch screen. This one has a plunger and flippers, ability to download, install new games, has a USB port, but all it says is supports charging. We don't know if that USB port can do anything else. Does have Wi-Fi, 8 gigabytes of storage, has 1 speaker, though. The Toy Shock has dual speakers, has volume control. Let's see here. And then comes with 27 games with the ability to purchase more. So we're talking the Zachariah lineup. So maybe you could get up to 105, 106 games on here. Now, what do you guys think about this, Detroit Love, when you look at this pinball machine? We're just going to stick with the tabletop for now. What are some things that's missing, or some things that you really like on here? Go ahead, buddy.
Well, I mean, the first thing I saw when I saw both their tables, the DMD There's no DMD on the back glass,
Mhm.
so the back glass is just purely decorations. I mean, I'm glad they have a back glass, because we've seen some tabletops like this from some DIY type people that don't have back glass, and that looks pretty weird. So I'm glad they do have a back glass, but I'm a fan of having a back glass that's totally live with actually reflecting the game that you're playing. Obviously, none of these products are doing that, but at the least, you want to have the score up at the top.
Yep. Nostalgia, what are you thinking about this? Guys, let us know in the live chat. What are you thinking about the Well-Played Arcade tabletop? We're not talking about the 3/4 scale one yet, just the tabletop. Keep those comments coming in the live chat.
I'm very much in sync with what Carl just said with the back glass. I wish there was something more to it. I'm not a huge fan of the art on it. Not that I don't mind this style of art. I just don't know that I like specifically the graphics that they've kind of gone with. And yeah, I don't really have that much to say about it, really. I feel like I want to see one of these things in person. I actually want to see one. I want to feel it. I want to play it. I want to see how the screen looks. I want to feel the responsiveness. Those are all fairly important to me. But based off of the specs that we're seeing, it is Wi-Fi enabled, 8 gigs of storage. And I mean, if they're only throwing 27 games on there, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room for extra games. So
yep.
I do like that. That's for sure.
Yep, guys. I don't want to steal views from my buddy Cool Toy. Although we're friends, I'm sure he'd be okay with me sharing this video for commentary purposes. But guys, make sure you guys go check out his video to watch the entire footage. I'm just going to show you a couple quick clips here. So here's what I like is, for commentary reasons, is taking a look at the front. You do have what looks to be a lock bar on the actual machine versus that render photo that we just had on the screen. That bar looks pretty cool. The back box lights up and it blinks and all that kind of stuff, but we don't have we don't even have an alphanumeric display or a DMD, right? And you'll notice here when the screen loads, it says Arcade Plus Pinball. And if you guys remember, Arcade Plus was another company that was going to make in-home arcades, and they just disappeared. It was another thing that came out right around the time of the New York Toy Fair. Didn't get a lot of traction, and then they fell off the map. So the question is did they partner with Well-Played? Is Well-Played taking their product and rebranding it to get something out there on the market? I don't have these answers. I can't get a hold of anybody at Arcade Plus, but you'll notice on the loading screens, it doesn't say Well-Played Arcade. It says Arcade Plus Pinball, which I find very, very interesting. It even has it right there at the top of the screen right there.
Yes.
Yeah,
when I look at this, the thing that I think with the artwork that I really don't like is just the big pinball letters. I think that's just like, it makes me feel like I've gone back in time and I'm 6 years old and I'm picking up like a fake pinball type of game from Toys R Us or something. It just doesn't, I just don't like that. I think it would have been way better if they just took the text out, just left the graphics, because you can look at the thing and know it's pinball. Like if you don't know it's pinball, you've got no business buying it. So that's kind of my thought. I think it's like the pinball text on it is throwing me off a bit.
Yeah, like if they just had the image but took the word pinball off.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what they're doing.
I'll give you that. Now, also too, take a look here, guys. Look at what you see on the right side of the machine. You have a flipper button and what appears to be a nudge button, right?
Right.
But when you look on the left side of the machine, take a look at this. There is only a flipper button, right? That is it. And also, when you go back to the spec sheet, you know how they put their specs in, right? No mention of nudge or tilt. None. And when you watch Cool Toy's video, again, guys, watch his video. The only time the guy who's playing the machine uses that button is when he's navigating the menus, that extra button on the right side. He's using it to move up and down, right? So I asked my buddy Cool Toy, I said, does this thing come with nudge and tilt? He says he believes it does. That's what they communicated to him. But how does it come with nudge and tilt without the nudge and tilt buttons on the front or on the sides? I mean, I don't think it's built in, But then again, I don't see it on here. Surely they would have put that as a feature. Like, for instance, on the Toy Shock Pinball machine, all their marketing slicks, it all says this has nudge and tilt. You know what I mean? And also, when you watch the videos, not once in the videos does he use a nudge or tilt function when he's playing the games. The screen sits still. You know what I mean? So I'm a little worried that this thing does not come with nudge and tilt. You know what I'm saying? What are you guys thoughts about it? How can you play pinball without at least a manual nudge and tilt? Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost impossible to play and really enjoy pinball without the ability to shift that ball and play. So that would be a little disappointing if that's the case. I mean, the haptic feedback and those type of things that's offered on other things, those things are cool, and you could say I can live without those things. You would like them, but you can live without them. Nudge is kind of hard to live without on pinball.
Yep. So hopefully they're built in, or hopefully maybe it's just that one button, but is that button smart enough to know you got to tilt left, right, or forward, right? Like, they told Cool Toy that it has nudge and tilt, and of course, we're going to report that it has nudge and tilt. I'm just not seeing it. You know what I mean? I'm just not seeing it. So
maybe it's not nudge and tilt on the small one, but on the big one.
When's the release for this?
This is supposed to be released in December. Both the bar top and the stand up should both be released in December.
So how are they going to get it from the bottom of the ocean?
We don't know whose containers. We don't know whose containers fell into the ocean. Come on now.
Well, we know it's got to be Arcade1Up because that's why they delayed their pinball till February.
Yeah, no.
They saw into the future. They knew that there was going to be problems, and then they delayed it preemptively.
Yeah. Well, honestly, now when we watched the gameplay, I didn't think the gameplay on these looked horrible. You know what I mean? Because I also know that they gave him a video, which Cool Toy rendered in his video production software at 24 frames per second, right? So what we all watched on his video was at 24 frames per second, not 60 frames per second. And for 24 frames per second, I thought the gameplay looked pretty good. You know what I mean? But I love all these people who are like, I see lag. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I guess the only way, and you know what? This might be something that's plaguing all these companies. It is so hard to show pinball without having like a capture card hooked up and broadcast it live at like 60 frames per second. You know what I mean? It's so hard for all these companies to show pinball. You know what I mean? Even when Mel Kirk tweeted out his tweets of Marvel gameplay, there were people who were like, I see flipper delay. You know what I mean? And it's like, because they're watching a cell phone camera that's being streamed over Twitter. You know what I mean? I feel bad for all these companies because no matter what pinball game machine is shown, we're not seeing the true experience on a computer screen. Does that make sense?
And the thing that's lost with pinball is it's incredibly difficult to create a virtual pinball where you got this little ball flying all over the thing, hitting off bumpers. I mean, this is much different than a Donkey Kong or a Street Fighter. You know what I mean? To have this ball appear to be naturally, the physics of it is an incredible feat just to do by itself, period. If you think about this little ball flipping around and going through the screen. So I'm just surprised that they can make something that looks realistic, period. And you see that in the different games where some balls seem to have this floaty things, and some seem just as realistic with real gravity. So it's quite a feat for this to be created, period.
Now, Kev, I don't know. Keep in mind there is a delay between your chat. Well, we see your chat. There's about a 90-second delay before we see it on our end. But how come when Detroit Love plays live, I don't see lag? Exactly. He's playing live, right? And it's kind of hard to do that it's kind of hard to show the real thing on a produced video is what I'm saying. Anytime someone shows you a video that's produced, guys, most streaming software is running it at like 23.999 something frames per second or a flat 24. Sometimes you can bump it depending on your streaming software. Like I use DaVinci Resolve. Sometimes I can bump it to 30 frames per second. But if I'm showing a game running at 60, but it's a recording and I render it, you're going to lose frames. You know what I'm saying is what I'm trying to say. So whatever you're watching on your phone, on your laptop, your computer, a produced video, not a live video, it's not capturing the real thing. You know what I mean? And that's what I think is a problem with all these companies is no matter who releases a video, people are going to say, I see lag or something, even if there isn't lag. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So,
yeah, and for the record, when I record my videos, I am recording at 60 frames per second with my camera when it's live. Now, once YouTube renders it and makes it a static video, once it's gone from live to saved, that may be a different situation. But my videos are recorded at 60 frames per second.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the 3/4 or scale. But technically, would we call it 3/4 scale? Because we found out that this sucker is actually like, I think they said, how many inches tall was it? Was it 80? Hold on. 65.5 inches high. This thing is super tall. This guy's got legs. Now this one, of course, you have a 24-inch screen. Now keep in mind, this is a render. I'll skip ahead so where we can see the actual live pinball machine. And of course, it has all the same features and functionality as the bar top, right? Same games included, same ability to download and add more games and make purchases and stuff. Now, what are you guys' thoughts on having the stand up versus the bar top? Everything else is the same, except obviously this is a stand up, not a bar top.
Well, it still has that big giant pinball at the top too.
That's all I was thinking. And it's on the apron too, which is like, oh, wait a second, hold on.
Look how tall look how tall this bad boy is. This thing is not short. In fact, let me see if I can go back here. Look at what it's sitting next to. It's sitting next to a full normal asteroids cabinet, and look at the size there. That's actually a pretty good size comparison. I'm glad they put that there. I'm glad they stuck it next to the asteroids machine. This thing has got really long legs on it, and again, we have a really nice lock bar right here across the front, which I'm kind of digging. Mm-hmm. I like the bezel, how it's kind of a different color. You know what I mean? And it's what's the word? It's kind of like a glossy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's got a nice little shine to it. And of course, in case you don't know what you're playing, it does say pinball on the back box.
In case you forget.
And that's a huge back box as well. I mean, that thing is pretty tall.
Yep. So, and of course, it's running the same software and everything. And
I noticed that on these devices, though, the screen isn't recessed at all.
Yeah. So the
flush mount screen.
Yeah. So the well played, and there you go again. You'll notice here, there's no separate flipper. I'm sorry, no separate nudge button.
Right.
No separate nudge button over here. Which I wanted to point out. And then, but the gameplay didn't look bad from what Cool Toys video has shown.
Thankfully, it says pinball on the side again as well, in case you forgot what you were playing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And just for the record, Toy Shock is not recessed as well. So my table is not recessed, but it looks fine.
Yep, very cool.
But us making this point about the pinball, I hope that because we've made points to AtGames about their logos, the AtGames logo everywhere. I hope they take heed from this and reduce the number of times it says Legends Pinball in there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So guys, make sure you go check out Cool Toys video, watch the whole video. There's a lot of great information in there, and you can instead of watching a stream of a stream, you can kind of watch it and enjoy it and let us know your thoughts. Now, I did pre-order the well-played pinball machines. They're saying they're going to arrive in December, so I can't wait to get my hands on them just to see what they're all about. So did anyone else here pre-order those? Michael B., Detroit Love, Nostalgia? Let us know in the chat if anyone placed a pre-order.
I believe you're the only one that did so.
I'm the only one.
I don't know if we can actually order this in Canada. I don't know if there's an option.
No.
You can't order it and just ship it to my house. So
I do have a
there's
guy.
Always options.
Yeah.
I've got a guy. If you want,
there's always options. Believe me. I can.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm catching up on the live chat. Keep going.
Yeah, but you should get yours by my birthday, which is in March. So you should be in good timing with that PDubs.
I might as well. 2Die4 says, nope, he's clean. Go subscribe to Bobby Lon Chaney. He ordered one. There you go. MG says he almost bought it after watching video. What changed your mind? Put that in the live chat. Let us know. And Andre says he pre-ordered, but he's unsure at this point
if he's going to keep it.
Yep.
Let's be realistic here too. How many people completely changed their opinion on the well-played pinball table once they found out that you could natively play the Zachariah pinball games on the AtGames Legends Pinball? I mean, that kind of took some of the steam out of this pinball table right there.
I can see that. See that. Like,
a very good point. The problem with the Legends pinball machine is that it doesn't say giant pinball everywhere on all the sides, on the back box, on the apron, on the front panel, on the legs. That's the problem.
I'm choking here. These people in the live chat are brutal. They're brutal. You guys crack me up. I can't share half these comments, guys. Be nice. Some of these are so mean. All right, guys, be nice. Be nice. All right. So Well Played in Toy Shock. Sounds like you could get your hands on those here in December, but we don't know how many, and we don't know if Well Played was impacted by the big boat that lost a whole bunch of containers. We don't know. Hopefully they'll make some kind of announcement or let us know if they were impacted, kind of like what the other companies did. All right, guys, let's talk about Arcade1Up Pinball. And unfortunately, heartbreaking news for all of us that their entire pinball line delayed until, what is it, February 8th is now the target date. So we're talking 60 days, 64 days. Is it the end of the world? Is it shenanigans, or is it understandable? Let's go around the horn. Detroit Love, you're chewing on something, so we'll start with Michael B.
Yeah.
Mike B.
So,
And also in the live chat, let us know what you guys think about Arcade1Up having to delay pinball.
if you guys are ready to put on your tinfoil hats, I got a bit of a conspiracy theory here to throw out on this one. Here in Canada, they were always slated to release in February.
Yeah.
And honestly, it has not changed. I confirmed with my source for Arcade1Up here in Canada. We also confirmed with the retailer at the Brick. That date has not changed. And it's starting to make me think it was always going to be February. But for some reason, they just didn't update the American listing.
Really?
Yeah.
So Attack from Mars in Canada has always had a February release date, not a December?
January 28th, I think.
I didn't know that.
I got all three of them on pre-order. They're all January 28th from the day that they were available, January 28th. Which, I mean, maybe if you want to dive down that rabbit hole, maybe it was a competitive thing that they did to try to encourage people to pre-order their product over their competitor. And maybe it was dishonest. Maybe it was completely legitimate that they thought they were going live in December and they had to delay. I don't know, but
yep,
it's I don't feel bad for you guys because now you guys get to wait as long as we have to wait up here in Canada. So for me, I'm not really waiting that much longer.
Now we're being told right now there's not going to be any delay for the pinball tables in Canada, but that's not to say we still don't get delayed 2 or 3 months. They're being told the pinball tables are on the water now. They might be under the water. We don't know yet, but they're on the water now, and they're expecting to receive them at the end of January. But that could change here in Canada, and we could be April, May before we get ours.
What I'm hoping happens, because there's only like 6 Canadians, so I'm hoping that they fulfill the Canadian orders so we can get them before you guys in the US. Just as like, look what I got and you don't. Just for some fun.
Oh, this is a great comment. They're waiting for Jong to help with delivery. Love it. Love it.
But I would say realistically, guys, anybody expecting to get the pinball in December is that's a slim chance, I believe, for any of these manufacturers due to the current state of the world with shipping everything coming out of one country and there being no containers available for most of those things. So I would say expect next year, but if you get lucky and get it this year, fantastic. But I wouldn't put my expectations in any of these products getting to anybody before January.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. With the reality of the world situation right now, everyone and their mother is trying to get stuff shipped over from overseas into the United States and Canada. And because of that, there's a huge backlog, and just an enormous backlog of ships that are rotating around the ports, trying to get room to bring in and dock their stuff. And it's a tough game to play just because everyone has to adhere to all the regulations and the rules. You've got understaffing and you've got to keep social distancing and all that stuff. So it just makes things so much harder.
Well, and I know some people said they're going to ruin Christmas if they don't get their pinball before
I
Christmas.
don't think so.
I do have a couple of options. You can make a mock-up with all the cardboard from all these things you bought over this year here. Make one, put it in there. Just say, I'm not going to open this up until January. It's under the tree. It's wrapped up, looks beautiful, but don't open it until next year, so you'll be good. You'll save Christmas with your mock-up.
So shout out to Arcade1Up for being transparent and getting on their official Facebook fan page that has nearly, 20,000 people on it of their super fans, and letting folks know that, guys, we have some bad news. You're not getting your pinball until February. They didn't wait for the retailers to change the dates and for us all to panic. Like, they jumped on it. They made the announcement, a formal announcement and all that kind of stuff. So shout out to them for communicating with the community. From the way it read, though, it sounded like they were saying they had some issues they needed to fine tune, that it wasn't a logistic issue. They made it seem like it was more of a performance issue. Again, I'm going off of the announcement they gave us. Again, there's a lot of speculation out there. I don't think their pinball machines fell into the ocean. You know what I mean?
No, and if they did actually have mechanical issues or issues with their build or software or any of those things, good on them for delaying. Good on them for delaying, because the idea of having to buy one of these pinball machines and then doing a firmware update later just so they can rush them out is really silly. I'm not a big fan of a lot of these machines that are coming out not really being tested, and they're having to release a firmware release for almost every single one of their machines at this point. And if they did decide to hold back because of some potential software or hardware issues, good for them.
Right.
That's the right thing to do.
That's the gaming industry at large right now, though. I mean, games are constantly rushed out where they need day one patches to fix stuff in there. We shouldn't be surprised by that kind of I don't know what the right word is, procedure right now at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the difference there is if it was connected to Wi-Fi, I wouldn't mind it, because then you don't have to sideload it. You don't have to plug your USB into a computer, download a patch, and go that route. So, yeah, if it was a Wi-Fi enabled device, I really wouldn't care. I wouldn't say anything about a day 1 patch or day 10 patch. It doesn't matter. But the extra work of having to, sideload a patch doesn't really make sense on a device like this.
Yeah, so if their posts made it seem like the machines just aren't ready, from like a software, hardware type perspective. The way they worded it, like, we want to give it to you when it's at its absolute best, not when it needs improvement. That's the way their post read, right? So that, to me, if that's what they're telling me, I have to take that as God's honest truth. And what I can tell you is that's a good decision. For instance, I have, as you guys know, if you follow my channel, I have the Costco Super Pac-Man. And although it's nice that you can do a firmware update on Arcade1Up machines now that they've kind of let people know how you can access the micro USB to flash this stuff, it's a pain in the butt. It's a real pain in the butt. Whereas other arcade or just other gaming products, what happens when it's internet capable? You just download a fix, right? You know what I mean? As if it's software related or something in the software that could help the hardware, right? So, them releasing the pinball machines and then telling everyone, okay, now you got to lug your 100-pound pinball machine to your computer and plug it into your computer to do an update because it has no Wi-Fi. People would have hated that. You know what I mean? People would have been pissed. So if they had to delay it due to that reason, totally understandable.
Yeah, and it's not like Arcade1Up doesn't have another device that they've already done updates on that had Wi-Fi. I mean, we all have NBA Jam, and we all did the updates, and look how easy and seamless it was to do those updates with NBA Jam. So this is something the company has already done.
Now, real quick, Arcade Will gave us $5 super chat. Arcade1Up asked us to hit notify me for updates on pinball. Who got this bomb in update? I did not. Kudos to you guys. Don't know exactly what he's saying there.
He's saying he asked them to notify him about pinball, and
Right.
and they did not notify him about that change in the pinball.
Oh,
They only notify you when it's available. That's how the notify button works on their site.
I mean, they just did that announcement on their Facebook page just a little while ago.
Yeah.
What, like an hour or two ago?
It was 30 minutes before we went live.
Yeah. So, they hired a tester that's a video game fighter champion. I hope that was the right pick. Well, not with the Miss Pac-Man firmware.
Yeah, I thought I was reading that he's
That
no
was so
longer
funny.
with them.
So
No, he's still there.
He's still there.
now,
But
Now,
rumor
what
is
if-
he's still fighting and playing for the leaderboard score.
all right. Now it's time to speculate. And keep in mind, guys, these are speculations. These are opinions. We are allowed to have these. These are all protected by fair use on YouTube. So some of the speculations I've heard, it's kind of funny, is since they announced the delay, the Facebook page, here's all the things I've read that I'm just simply reporting on, is folks saying that, well, maybe they went back to the drawing board and it's going to come back with Wi-Fi and a bigger screen, 27-inch screen. I've heard that. The boats, they were in containers on the boats and they fell into the ocean. I heard that. Obviously the software and the performance issues, and the other thing is they haven't even built the pinball machines yet, and that the pre-orders were, this is so funny, the pre-orders were like AtGames reservations, trying to find out how many they need to build, and production is actually starting. I have read some crazy stuff on the Facebook groups today, and guys, it's insane. It's insane. I mean, they're saying the delay is due to, what is it called? The hardware, software, some kind of issue. The machines aren't ready. They're not, so I guess that's the reason, right? But you guys, but this community goes nuts, right? Like everything's a scandal. Everything's a controversy. It's pretty funny. John D, didn't they say they were waterproof? That's pretty funny. I don't think they're waterproof. Either way, I mean, they'll get here. I mean, 2 months. It's going to go by pretty quick, in my opinion. Time has been flying by, so maybe it'll happen. Oh my God, these people in the live chat. I can't share half these comments, guys. Jeez. You guys are hilarious. Okay.
And while you're saying that time is flying by, I mean, this year just seemed to be the longest year ever. I mean, you talk about when you was at CES, that seems like that was at least last year or 2 years ago since you guys were out there. This year has just been dragging on, and it was supposed to be the year of pinball. It's just the year of pinball reservations and pre-orders. 2021 is going to be the year of pinball.
I mean, everybody needs to be realistic about this. Huge companies like Microsoft and Sony can't even get their new devices out in stock enough to fill the demand that's out there. You have to understand these are small companies. Arcade1Up is awesome. It's huge, but it's also still a small company compared to those. So, I mean, let's be realistic. Right now, we're still in the midst of a pandemic. There's massive issues. So you should have expected delays.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Got a great comment here by Vince. In all fairness, curious to see the outrage when AtGames has a limited run for Wave 1 and all these one-up comments get replaced with AtGames anger. Absolutely true, in my opinion. But then again, AtGames has made no bones about the fact that Wave 1 is going to be a very, very small shipment. They haven't released the actual number. We've all speculated anywhere from 50 to 250 units, 500 units. We've heard a lot of speculation on YouTube. But yeah, so not everybody's going to get their AtGames pinball machine. And if you were told you were in Wave 1, but then you don't get your list or you don't get your pinball machine, yeah, there's going to be some outrage. Like I know I would. You know what I mean? What are you guys laughing at?
It says Arcade1Up doing another GoFundMe for their next machine.
Oh, I don't
know if Mike was laughing at that. I saw that. I thought that was really
no.
funny.
I was laughing at the next comment down that asked me if I just want an iiRcade hat, and I have.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, look at this, Brad. The only bright spot of 2020 was the Super GameRoom Dudes. Thanks so much, Brad. We greatly appreciate that. Just for that, Michael B is going to send you some Michael B Game Genie stickers. And you'll get those in the mail in about 6 months.
And his new Christmas album.
Okay.
I do have a Christmas album.
So we have good news, bad news. Let's move on to, AtGames Pinball. Sorry, I'm like burping. All right, guys. So AtGames Pinball. So we did find out today. And again, I loved seeing the communication by these companies. Linda is on the Toy Shock page communicating, right? Arcade1Up goes on their Facebook page and tells people, sorry, we got bad news. And also AtGames got on their Facebook page today and said, you know what, guys? We were impacted by that boat that had a whole bunch of containers fall into the ocean due to a storm in the Pacific. And some of our products got lost. Now, they did clarify that it wasn't any of the pinball machines, but it did impact their other products, which makes me worry about, are there a bunch of Legends Gamer minis or Legends Gamer cores at the bottom of the ocean right now? You know what I mean? Or maybe even Legends Ultimate 1.1 cabinets. You know what I mean? So the bad news there, guys, is some of these AtGames products that they were hoping on had coming this month and being released this month, we don't know what they were. They didn't confirm what products exactly. Those are now lost and delayed, and it's just heartbreaking. You know what I mean? Heartbreaking. But the one bright spot there is it wasn't any of the pinball machines. What do you guys think about this? This is terrible news. Detroit Love, what do you think about this? Guys, let me know. People are like, get my scuba gear.
Same year, same news. Ain't nothing changing.
Salvage title cabinets. I mean, when bad crap like this, now guys, there's this thing called insurance. I'm an insurance underwriter. They're fine when it comes to money. You know what I mean? Like, and all that stuff.
Ish.
But, you have to kind of laugh at it after the fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Scuba Steve suit up. What if one of them washed up on an island in Robinson Crusoe right now? Robinson Crusoe playing an AtGames Legends pinball machine? No, the pinball wasn't on there. Ah, man. Containers float. No, they don't. That would be hilarious, dude. What if a container popped open and 100 Legends Gamer cores? What if a container was full of Legends Gamer cores? Lands on an island. There's a guy on the island. The container bursts open and they all pop out. And this guy's like, oh my God, I got all these Legends Gamer cores, but they don't come with a controller.
I gotta tell you something, PDubs. I don't know if you realize that the ocean is saltwater. And saltwater and electronics do not get along very well.
We're joking if they floated, if the containers float. Nostalgia with the logic. We're trying to have fun. And nostalgia with the logic. But can you imagine Legends Gamer core lands on your, you fish it out. You're like, oh my God.
I can't imagine now with the saltwater story now. So.
It's over. Sorry, guys. I ruined it.
Thanks for popping that. Thanks for popping that balloon, Nostalgia.
What was the old Saturday Night Live skit, Debbie Downer or something like that? That's Nostalgia's job right now.
Right. He has been a Debbie Downer lately. Yeah, he has been.
Sorry, guys.
But yeah, guys, so some AtGames products are going to be impacted by this, some stores, inventories, and things, but we don't know exactly what. But kudos to them for communicating it, and kudos to them for letting us know that it wasn't the pinball. Breath of fresh air. We're still expected to get a Wave 1 pinball delivery this December, right? So hopefully some folks will still get their pinball machines by Christmas.
Hey, P-Dubs, somebody is able to get a pinball this year, right? Don't we still have a contest going on? People can still sign up if they hadn't signed up.
Yes.
So somebody can get a pinball this year.
You're talking about the Toy Shock contest,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes,
Yep.
sir.
I almost forgot. I literally wrote that down. I said bar top photo contest. I totally skipped contest. My apologies. All right, guys. So real quick, we're going to backtrack to Toy Shock real quick. Make sure you check out the video on my channel. It was just a couple of videos ago where we announced Toy Shock is doing a pinball giveaway. Someone could win a free pinball machine. And
that's on all of our channels as well.
Yep. And then next Friday on the Super GameRoom Dudes, we're going to broadcast it. We're going to broadcast the winner. Someone's winning a free pinball machine. Go check out the video on our channels and click the link in the video description to enter. There have been, like 600 some entries. Crazy. So odds of winning are getting smaller and smaller, but you have 0 odds if you don't enter. Don't forget that, guys. You can't complain if you didn't try. All right, go ahead, Mike.
The week after that live, all of us plus John will come to your house and deliver the Toy Shock Pinball table.
That'd be awesome. That'd be hilarious. All right. So the one thing that we kind of revealed earlier, but maybe some of you joined the show later, is for the AtGames Pinball, another pinball update. If you purchased a Home Shopping Network Gamer Pro on Wednesday when the firmware came out, you got your pinball pack download. So all those owners, I think I saw a couple of them in our chat. I don't know if Mike is still here. I don't know if Wilson's in the house. I think those guys messaged me that they got their pinball pack. Let me know if you got them. What's your experience been? Ristalgia, any thoughts on when the pinball pack will be available for purchase and download for everybody else for all their other products?
I'm not even quite sure what you're asking. I don't understand the question.
The Gottlieb pinball pack, the 5 games.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question, Patrick.
He does not know and is not going to confirm nor deny. But I did get my 5-game pack here on my
Nice
Legends Ultimate, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I'm part of the test pilot to see how that distribution would go, and it came over very well, just like any other game pack. So once they iron out the details, it's going to be a pretty simple download to get those added to the devices.
What I will say, joking aside, I'm not going to say when, but I will say that AtGames is being very, very particular about testing these things and making sure that you are getting a good experience. So all I can say is that when they do come out, however soon that is, and hopefully it's fairly soon, you guys will get a good experience with them.
Yeah, and I can attest from that. I've gotten 2 updates to it since they had it, so they're tweaking it and making sure it's a great product for delivery. So that's cool.
Tight lips sync 1-up ships. God, you got it. So funny. And that's one of the tame ones that I can share on the screen. We had a question in the chat. When are the 1.3 boards going to ship? Well, all the new Toy Shock products coming out in 2021 should have the 1.3 boards, like those bar tops and stuff like that. The extra 1.3 boards, I don't know if they're going to be coming out this month or not. We'll have to find out from Linda over at Toy Shock for folks who are waiting for replacement PCBs. I don't have an update for you on that yet. Mike Hawk says he's enjoying the pinball. They are smooth. The graphics aren't perfect, but it doesn't affect the gameplay.
I love when you say his name.
What?
Say it.
Mike Hawk.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up, Nostalgia! Oh my God, you are a child.
You're welcome. See, I don't have to ruin every joke.
You know, last week Nostalgia couldn't be here, so we didn't do a show. Next time, I'm saying the show must go on.
Whatever, you're lost.
Oh my God, you guys are so funny. He just got that. Yeah, I did. That went way over my head. Also, so it already leaked, so it's okay to talk about. We're not violating embargo or anything of that nature. So something that's pretty cool that I think AtGames is doing, and it got leaked by their own accord, so we can talk about it. Nostalgia, if you need to take your headset off, take your headset off, but I'm going to talk about it because they leaked it themselves. So the firmware notes came out, and when the firmware notes came out, the firmware notes that they released publicly told everybody that the Pinball Add-on X games, your VPX games, were being moved to ArcadeNet, to the ArcadeNet service. So basically, cloud pinball is coming, which is pretty exciting. But unfortunately, it got yanked at the last minute. It wasn't included in the firmware update that came out, although the firmware notes said it was happening. And everyone has been talking about it on Discord, on the Facebook page, all that kind of stuff. So I think we can kind of talk about it. Now, what I like is it's over. They're moving the games to ArcadeNet, and you see all the games like Leprechaun King and all that, and you just pick the game, click the button, play, and it launches just like an ArcadeNet game. Very simple. Versus the whole Pinball Add-on X stuff where you have to download the game from their website, stick it on a USB, then re-upload it on your arcade machine to their servers, and then launch the game. You know what I mean? It's a pain in the butt process. Now you'll just be able to click and play the games. But then again, you are streaming the games, right? So streaming, of course, has its pros and cons. But guys, let us know in the live chat. Are you guys, if you have AtGames products, are you guys interested in cloud pinball via ArcadeNet now, where you're just going to point, click, and play these games on their system? Go ahead, Michael B. What do you think?
I'm not sure. I don't have a lot to say on this right now. I'm not willing to disclose anything I know, or I'll let you go on this one yourself.
No, I have a question. I have a question regarding Steam streaming. Now, Steam, when we have the pinball tables, I think all of us have pinball tables on Steam. Now, that's being streamed, right? I mean, how's that any different? I don't know how that technology works. I'm just curious if you guys know.
It depends on how you're streaming it. So there's one method where you stream over your own home network. That's a way that you can stream those tables. You can or stream those games, depending on what it is you're playing. Or you can stream from a cloud-based VM, a virtual machine, which would be a centralized server that has a Windows instance running, and then that would stream from that server down to your device. So there are a few different systems in play there.
Well, I get my question was specific. Like with Steam, does it download that game to your local machine and then play it from there? I mean, or is you're streaming it straight from the Steam servers?
Yeah, you're going to be streaming it straight from the servers.
Okay.
You're just essentially using your device as a monitor, and all the work's happening on the server side.
Okay.
If you ask me, I think it is an improvement from the personal user experience level, right? People want to point, click, and play. You know what I mean? And a lot of folks are brand new to AtGames. AtGames is booming right now, baby. They got Legends Gamer Pros everywhere. They got Legends Ultimate cabinets everywhere. And we've had over 1,000 people join their Facebook fan page in less than 60 days. And that is a huge growth rate in the last 60 days versus the last 8 months. And let me tell you something, guys. If you guys are in the groups, the forums, the Discord channels, we're getting every day we see somebody new. Hi, I'm brand new. How do I play pinball on this thing, right? I don't understand. How do I play pinball on this thing, right? I bought this thing. It has pinball buttons, but how do I play pinball, right? Well, now these users, especially first-time users, are going to be able to turn their machine on, go to the Arcade1Up tab, see pinball games, click a button, and start playing the games. They don't have to go through this entire process.
There is a small process they do have to go through, but it's not painful.
Well, I know what you're talking about, but we can't talk about that.
Right. So it's not as simple as literally turn it on and the tables are ready to go. There is some work that the end user has to do, but everything can be done right on the device.
It's easy. It's click, click. Okay, it's not click, play. It's click, click, play. Nostalgia, don't make it seem hard.
I'm trying to set up realistic expectations. That's all.
Look, it's click, click, play the first time, and then it's click, play. Anyway, guys, because I have them, I know what we're talking about. So either way, guys, don't worry about it. You're gonna just click, play, and play your pinball games. Don't listen to Nostalgia. He's just trying to scare you.
I think it's click, wait, click, play.
That's the winner. He's got it right on the nose.
Michael B., what do you think?
I'm not at liberty to discuss this.
What? What? I don't.
If he had something to say, he would have raised his hand, so you know he didn't have anything.
Yep. Well, hopefully when it goes live, they'll also be adding more games. Hopefully we'll see that. No guarantees there, so we'll see what happens when that goes live. Either way, I think it was a good move by AtGames, personally. Let's get those things moved over there. That way people aren't messing around with USBs, running from their computer to their arcade cabinet, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, and it's nice as new tables show up, if and when they do. You don't have to keep an eye out for it. You'll just have access to it.
Yeah, that's another pro too. Is AtGames, when we did our Legends Pinball announcement, we did confirm that there was, like 20 some of these VPX games that they'll be able to play. And as these games become available, they'll just be added to Arcade1Up, and it'll just be there. You know what I mean? You don't have to go hunt and find them. So that's pretty cool as well, as these games get added. Nostalgia, any update on Pizza Time? I've been waiting for this thing to come out. You got to give us something about Pizza Time. Everyone knows about it. Everyone knows it's coming.
It's a fantastic table. Probably one of the best pinball tables I've ever played. Yes, is that what you want to know?
We know
it's great. Oh, PDubs, it's fantastic. You should try it sometime.
Guys,
but you've only played Leprechaun King, so you know.
Well, he's only played one other game.
Hold your horses. That's not true.
Out of the two games I played, it's
Pizza Time. Pizza Time is really good. It's a new table. So when we're looking to introduce stuff like that, it's got to be tested really, really, really well. So they're just putting in a lot of energy into that, making sure that it's perfect. So it's coming soon. It is coming soon, but I don't have a specific date or anything like that.
Yep, guys, and whenever it comes to streaming pinball on the cloud, if you're streaming these VPX type games or future pinball type games through AtGames, it's always going to be free.
Yep.
Always going to be free. I know some people are going to panic and be like, "Oh my god, I got to pay a subscription fee." No, that's not true. It will always be free. They can't they can't even legally charge for it, even if they wanted to, right? It has to be free. Is that
well?
correct?
It's all free. It's entirely free. So, any concerns about even I've even heard some people say by having an ArcadeNet subscription, it unlocks access to it. That's not true.
Right.
You don't need a subscription at all to play pinball in the clouds or cloud pinball. I'm not sure what they're going with as the official name there, but any of those types of tables, they're all free to play. There's no subscription. There's no cost on the end user in any way, shape, or form.
Yep. So let's make sure we squash those rumors as we see them, guys. If you want to stream pinball, it's going to be free through the for those games, for those VPX games. Now, Jeff Rainwater says if we start making guesses, Michael B, you can blink, like let's say blink once for yes, twice for no. I don't know what secrets you're holding. What secrets are you holding?
All right, keep your secrets.
Gandalf. Now, when it comes to ArcadeNet should hopefully be going live soon. Obviously, that would be a subscription service, but that is going to be for non-cloud pinball games, right, guys? So keep that in mind. All right. Very, very cool. I think we pretty much covered it all. Pretty good show tonight. And we got it all done in 90 minutes. I didn't want to push the show any further. Any final thoughts from my panel here before we give everyone a fond farewell?
I just want people to keep their expectations in check. Nobody's getting pinball this year. If you're thinking anything otherwise, you're dreaming.
Well, unless you buy the Toy Shock.
That's right.
Right.
Hey, the Toy Shock's here, and maybe well played, maybe at games. Maybe some of us will get pinball, but tell yourself you're not getting it.
Right.
Level set with yourself. What about you, Michael B?
No, not a lot. I've got a review of the AtGames Legends Ultimate version 1.1. Mine's different than a lot of other people's is. You'll see why in my review video. It's more updated than even Carl's there behind him. So hopefully that'll be coming up tomorrow night.
Nostalgia, what do you got in the hopper?
Nothing at all. I got early access to what is that game called? Immortals Phoenix Rising from Ubisoft.
Oh, that's so good.
And I've had that for a little while, and it is a fantastic game. And I need to do some live streaming with that. So expect to see that. I might even do some live streaming tomorrow night. I'm trying to pick the right day. I'm trying to pick the day that most people want, and live streaming is not really my jam. It's not something I do on my channel, so I'm trying to find an opportune time to do that, and I think Saturday nights might be the night.
And when it comes to PDubs channel, guess what, guys? I got my Outrun Arcade1Up cabinet review done, and I made it fun. And that's all I could say is I made it fun. Hope you guys check it out. Hopefully that video will be coming out tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you guys check that out on my channel. Guys, we appreciate everything that you do. Tuning in, subscribe to everybody. Carl, whenever you're ready.
All right, guys, and on my channel, check out the AtGames video where it shows you how to go from 2 USB drives to just one. A lot of people have been liking that. Maybe this weekend I'll actually get my stool to spin. Maybe not. We appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you for all your support. And until next time, we'll see you on the web.